Good day, viewers. My name is Alhaji John, your anchor person on the program tonight. And my guest on the program today is one of the leading aspirants in the race for Kogi governorship come November 11, 2023. He's a person you know, you've heard of him before, you've seen him before. But again, for the sake of this program, I will appreciate hearing his name from himself. My brother, tell the audience your name. What's your name?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Idoko Kingsley Ilona from the Royal Idoko clan in Kogi State.
You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Today, I will want us to talk about your governorship ambition. It's not a new thing. It has the news is everywhere. Almost everybody is aware of it. But what specifically is the rationale behind your vying for Kogi governorship?
Yes, it's pure passion to serve. Just service. That is the driving force behind my ambition to govern Kogi State. I come from a family of business entrepreneurs. In my DNA, I'm naturally a businessman. Like I always tell people, I would prefer to be a Dangote or an Adenuga than being a President Tinubu. But over the years, I've realized that Kogi State is highly blessed. We have a lot of human, material, mineral resources, but we are not at the position we're supposed to be because of leadership. Leadership is the most important thing in any developed state or country you see. So because of the leadership deficiency in the state, that is why I decided to step out of my comfort zone, which is business, and venture into politics so I can create quality and purposeful leadership for Kogi State. Because once you have a right leadership in place, every other thing will fall in place.
Naturally fall in place.
Everything will fall in place and things will be better. The people of the state would have a lot to gain from good leadership. Okay. And there's a lot to offer to the people. And people are suffering. You're fully aware that people are suffering, across the state. So it's just good leadership, just to provide quality leadership. That is why I'm contesting for governor of Kogi State.
Then, business and politics are two things apart. Have you participated in politics before? This is your first time in participating fully in politics.
Funny enough, I've been a registered member of PDP since 2008, but I've never participated actively like I'm doing now. I've always been at the background, supporting my party and supporting candidates across the state that I believe in and I know can provide quality leadership. So this is my first foray into active politics.
Then I would want to, like you made mention of PDP. I was at the ground. You participated in the PDP primaries before swapping to another party. Don't you see that as having any effect on your political sojourn and maybe a lot of legal implication moving from one party to another after the primary? Don't you think it has effect on your ambition?
Not really. The constitution, I've been doing business for over 20 years now, and I try to be at the top of my game. I have legal consultant that have retainership with my company Ilona Group for the past 10 years, and before we take any moves business-wise, I always seek advice.
Legal advice.
And I'm educated. I'm schooled. I'm a graduate of geology and mining. So there are some things I read for myself, to update myself about what the Constitution and the Electoral Act states. Now, the Electoral Act is very clear. You must be a registered member of a party for a minimum of 30 days before you can contest under any party. Yes, I was in PDP. But because of my disaffection with the outcome of the primaries, which I'm sure the entire country already knows what happened, how the whole process was screwed to favor one particular candidate who eventually won, because you can't have 717 delegates contesting for an election and you allow one person to manipulate the list of 187 delegates out of 717. So it wasn't fair. And before I went into politics, I had discussions with the leaders, my people, the leaders, various political leaders across the state. And after I presented my program, what I intend to do for the state, they advised me that yes, they will give me their support to go ahead and contest, you know. And when I contested and lost, they came and we had a meeting, but at the second meeting, it was leaders across party lines. And they came and said, okay, you've lost.
Okay, leaders beyond
PDP, you know, and they all came together and said, I think from your plan for the state that I've heard and looking at your track record, what you've achieved on your own, we think you have the opportunity. If you're given the opportunity, you can bring purposeful leadership to Kogi State and govern the state properly in the fear of God and doing the right thing, because according to them, they've watched me excel in my private enterprise, which is my business, over the years. So it was a unanimous decision that we should move to another platform so that we can go ahead and contest for the election.
That leads to acceptability within your people. I would want us to look at it independently. I don't want to use the word acceptability on a general term. Within the people of Kogi State, Kogi is where you come from. Do you think you have a good enough acceptability to win the election for you?
Acceptability by the people, yes, I do. But I'm not oblivious of the fact that power comes from God. It's only God Almighty that crowns a leader. But at the same time, when you close the door, when you open your door and you pray and fast,
it will
and
remain open.
It will remain open, and armed robbers could even attack you and loot all your things while you are praying.
So it is a combination of prayer and work.
Thank you. So prayer and work is the difference, and that is what we are trying to. That's what I'm doing. That's why if I sat down after contesting or not contesting in PDP at all and keep complaining and lamenting about poor leadership, bad leadership in the state and the country, I'll just be like one of those singing or those people that just talk from the background without taking a step. So I'm accepted by the people, I think so, but we've not really been given opportunity to test the acceptance.
Aside Kogi is where you come from,
yes.
Maybe because of your family relationship, your business relationship and all of that in Kogi East, do you have the same extension and the connection across Kogi East into Kogi Central, where you think you have a good support in Kogi Central too?
Mm-hmm.
So like you said about Kogi East, do you have support base in Kogi Central?
You know, funny enough, I'm running for governor of Kogi State that comprises of Kogi West, Kogi East, Kogi West, and Kogi Central. I'm not running off. There's nothing like governor of Kogi East. So if you want to run for governor of Kogi State, you must have your support base must cut across the state. That's the 3 senatorial district. You know, my running mate, Honorable Abubakar Yakubu Bawa, is from Lokoja. Okay. You know, so that falls under Kogi West. And like I said, we've been working behind the scene. And you know, in this era where we have a lot of endorsement galore, different people endorsing candidates all over the place, you know, when the atmosphere gets a little bit busy and saturated with endorsement, you need to go back to the drawing board and look at what you're doing and then reevaluate what you've done. The most important thing for me, like I keep saying, is we should have good leadership for Kogi State. We should not, it's not about having an Igala governor. It's not an Igala governor. A governor that will govern over the people of Kogi State. because you are not, there's nothing like Igala governor. So we have support, and we have support in Kogi West and Kogi Central, but we're trying to build on the support we have so far. Thank God we still have some time to the election. A lot to be done between now and November, but definitely we have support in Kogi West and Kogi Central, but we need to build solidly on what we have before now.
Even in the case where the West have Dino and Leke and the Central have Ibudo, you think you can still pull votes from them?
Yes. You see, Kogi West in particular, they are very sophisticated people. It's not about their son contesting. It's more about the program you have for the state. It's about their belief in your program. If somebody believes that if I cast my vote for this candidate,
this could be the likely outcome.
This could be the likely outcome, and then if this person wins, we should have this and that and everything. Yes. Just like you saying that Dino will not get vote from Kogi East, or Dodo will not get vote from Kogi East. They'll get vote from Kogi East.
So and you will get from their side.
And we would also get from their side. So most importantly, it's your program that you put before the people. What program do you have to offer to the people? We would unveil our program for the state as time. We're trying to put finishing touches to what we need to do. We have identified over 56 industries that we intend to open in Kogi State.
56 industries.
Yeah, we have them, and by the time these industries, even if it's half of them, we can do. Some of them might not be large scale, but
medium, small and medium scale.
And then, like I keep saying to people, I have just one point agenda, which is IGR. IGR.
Internally generated revenue.
We want to increase our IGR. We intend, if God gives us power, if God grants us favor to become governor, come January 27th, 2024, we pray and hope that in the first 6 months, we should be able to raise between 20 to 25 billion in IGR for the state. Because no matter what you want to do, if you don't have the money, if you go online and check how much comes from FAC to Kogi State every month,
as allocation.
As allocation. Then when you now look at the internally generated revenue, I've heard the state government through the commissioner and some books I've read online, some news media, through the news media, that when the governor came, he met the IGR of the state at 350 million. In 2018 or thereabout, he increased it to 1 billion. Then I think about 6 months now, 6 or 7 months ago, they are doing about 1.7 billion. Yeah, the governor has tried, because considering...
This indicates that there's possibility and allowance for growing.
God bless you. So if truly he met the IGR at 350 million every month, and he's now doing 1.7 billion, that means he has really tried. But the bottom line is that, unfortunately, his best is not good enough, because a lot of potentials. Kogi State, for me, as a state, I always compare Kogi to Lagos and to Dubai. Why do I compare it to Lagos? Lagos State has a landmass of 3,343 kilometers square. Kogi has almost equally the same landmass. Kogi is surrounded by a river. Lagos is surrounded by a river. Kogi used to be Kogi was the first capital of Nigeria as a country. Lagos also was the capital of Nigeria at the time. Do you understand? So, Kogi is surrounded by water, So I believe that there are two things that will turn around. When I talk about generating between 20 to 25 billion in the first 6 months to 1 year, it's not overtaxing people. We have a lot of people that are not in the tax net in Kogi today as we speak. Do you understand? Many people are not in the tax net. So you need to, before you start taxing people, you must provide infrastructure. That is what we want to aggressively do, because one of the major infrastructure that affects people directly is roads. Once you have good roads, healthcare, education. Those are things that directly impact on the people. We intend to have free education. Primary, secondary school will be free if God gives us power. From 0 to 18 years, free medicals. From 60 years and above, free healthcare, and want to do roads. Kogi should be known for two things. Kogi is an agricultural state. Yeah. And Kogi is a tourism capital of Nigeria. And in extension, Africa. We have a lot of land, we have a lot of monuments, we have a lot of things that we can do. Kogi is the only state in Nigeria today, as of today, that is surrounded by 10 other states. There's no state that has the opportunity of being surrounded by 10 states. We are the gateway from the south to the north, from the north to the south. We have a lot of, like when I tell people that in the first 6 months of office, the first thing is massive road infrastructure. We intend to do the road from Ida, from Anpa to Ayangba to Ida to Ibaji, all the way to the boundary to Anambra. Link Anambra with dual carriageway. Now, Ibaji has one of the best soil for agriculture in the entire country, one of the best in the entire in the state and the entire country in extension. Look at the kind of rice that comes from Ibaji. Look at the kind of yam that comes from Ibaji. Look at the kind of sugarcane and the soil. Do you understand? Now, Ibaji is our boundary, is a border local government between Kogi State and Anambra State.
Yes.
Then look at also the Ida, Odoro, Onsuka. We intend to open up the state, because once you open up the state, activities like
inflow of traffic people will boost the economy.
And it will boost the economy of the state. So the most important thing is generate more IGR. Like I keep saying, when I say 20 to 25 billion in a month, it looks ambitious, but unfortunately, everything I have done in life, when I tell people at the beginning, they always look at me and they laugh. When I told people I was going to install the first LED board in Nigeria, it looks like a fairy tale. But Lona Media was the first company to install the first LED in Nigeria. That is electronic billboard form of advertising.
It's almost everywhere now.
When I told people we were going to build the biggest board in Nigeria, they said, how can you do that? But in 2011, it came to pass. We built the biggest board in Nigeria. When I told people we'll build the biggest board in Africa, they thought it was a joke. How can you build the biggest board in Africa? We went around, did our research, took details of the board size across Africa, and we did in 2015 on Lugbe International, Abuja International Airport Road by the Lugbe interchange. Then 1 year after, while that project was going on in 2015, I told my team that we'll conquer the world, we'll build the biggest board in the world. And they thought it was a fluke. As at October last year, Lona Media has started and constructed the largest advertising structure in the world, a Guinness Book of Records certified. We are waiting for Guinness Book to give us date to come and officially unveil the board on 3rd Mainland Bridge as the largest advertising structure in the world. I believe that, like in the Bible, it's clearly stated, man was created in God's image and liking. And what the Bible says is, whatever do you know what it is to be created in God's image? It means we are small God. Anything you imagine, you can do it. So when we set a target of 20 to 25 billion IGR, considering the strategic location of Kogi in Nigeria, we can do it if we put our mind to it. Lagos is doing a lot. This is just in the first 6 months to 1 year. But we intend to do 100 million because, like I said, by the time the 56 industries we have identified start working, employment to be created, jobs will be created, revenue will come to the state. That is it. The developed countries around the world thrive on SME. There is nowhere in the world, no developed city in the world, have I seen, I don't know if you've seen, where government create jobs for everybody. It's impossible.
Not even the socialist
It's
republic.
not possible.
Well, you've heard enough about your plan, your ambition, and the projections ahead. But again, there's none of those things can stand and will move in the presence of insecurity. And above 70% of those involved in the activities that results in insecurity are the youth. In a summarized conclusion, what is your plan for Kogi youth? So that they will not be available for use in the negative aspect.
You know, honor must be given to whom is due. The case of insecurity, to be sincere, in Kogi State today, we should give some credit to the governor, Yaya Bello, because you see, we must speak the truth at all times. When somebody has done well, you tell him he has done well. Yes, it might have not done 100%, but in terms of insecurity, I think he has tried. In particular, I come from Ida local government. There was a time that on the streets of Ida, secondary school, primary school students were even cultists. You see people shooting themselves on the streets of Ida, broad daylight, not in the night.
I can remember.
You cannot come to Ida. You might remember my mentor, one of my greatest mentor. I read Geology and Mining. One of the people I mentored, I took after. I said, okay, I asked questions and they encouraged me to read my course. It was Ogachi Kwatano. He used to work for Saudi Aramco. He was kidnapped and killed
in Ida.
In
his room.
In his own room. So the rate of insecurity in Ida, in Kogi State generally was alarming. So all I can say is that the present government led by Governor Yaya Bello has improved great. He has done a lot of improvement in terms of security because all the look at, we're in the north. We know what the security situation in Benue, Niger
and
Nasarawa, Kaduna is, but Kogi State has been a bit immune. I don't know how the governor has done that, but it's something we want to learn more about and improve on it. But for the youth, my message to the youth is simple. We will make them sufficiently employed. We will make them independent. Any politician, politics is about selling off ideas to the people. It's not about toggery. Like I keep saying anytime I have the opportunity, any politician that calls the youth and say, go and involve in toggery, go and kill people, go and shoot, tell them to bring their own son first. Tell them to bring their family member. Once the family member can lead the way, then you should follow. Do you understand? So there is no doubt that most of our youth are greatly unemployed. I feel pains in Abuja when you go to police stations, when you go to fuel stations and the rest. You see a lot of Kogi youth, Kogi cities indigents, especially from the Kogi East, as pump attendant and all those stuff. It's truly unfortunate, you know. But we intend to. That's part of the reason why we intend to boost the economy aggressively. I have a comprehensive plan of what we want to do for the economy, where our youth will be gainfully employed. You know, because if there's an employment, one, you have to start from the foundation, which is the secondary school. The schools must be world class. Everything I've done in my life, I've always targeted, I've always aimed for the best. The primary school we give our students must be the best. You know, good structures, good teachers. You know, people should come to school and look forward to coming to school. My kids in Abuja and our kids, I'm sure your kids too, if they stay in Abuja, you know, their schools have air conditioning. They are being taught with computer and all those stuff. So why is it not the same thing for our kids at home? So from the foundation, primary school is free and it's compulsory. The only thing you need to have free education is your parents should be a taxpayer. No matter what they do, we encourage them to pay tax, give them money, expand their business, give them soft loans to expand their business, create good enabling environment, create good policies. Because the policies is what, look at what the current president is trying to do now, the policies he's trying to come up with. You know, so once that is done, you have a solid foundation from the primary level. Then by the time you go to the secondary level, also we do the same thing. I'm so happy one of our programs for the state, which I see the current government implementing, creating educational loans, grants for our citizens that parents earn below a certain amount of money. They should be able to get a loan to go to the university of their choice, you know, within the country, and the loan should be paid back. So I'm happy the federal government has, under the current leadership of His Excellency Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, have started on that same note, and we believe that by the time we come on board and we improve on it, the state is
it will have already been on motion.
In the motion, then we should be able to, Kogi's indigents should be able to have good primary, secondary, and tertiary education, and then we'll stop selling fuel in the stations in Abuja. We'll stop being recruits in police, in road safety, and stop doing linear jobs. It's not like there's anything wrong with linear jobs. Everybody cannot be a graduate. Exactly. But there are some people, that's why our technical schools will be revamped. I tell you, in developed countries, many people don't know that. You see, I was talking to a friend yesterday. He's a graduate. He relocated from Nigeria to Canada, Paul. And we're talking, and he told me, I said, what's happening? Have you settled in now? He said, you know what, the truth is that I don't want to do 9-to-5 job, because 9-to-5 job, my salary in a year is like 78,000, 85,000 naira gross monthly. That's my yearly package if I'm going to be doing a 9-to-5 job in Canada. But I want to drive truck, or I want to learn trade. I said, why do you say truck? He said, if you have a good deal from Amazon, where you travel from one country, maybe from Canada to another state, maybe within the world, or from Canada to US, or neighboring countries and everything, you could make as much as $6,000 a week. So if you're making $6,000 a week, and you have that consistently, that means you're doing like 24,000. So the truth is that we want our brothers and sisters to be educated, but everybody must not be a doctor. Everybody must not be an accountant.
And it mustn't be a white-collar job.
It mustn't be a white-collar job. Let jobs be created. You understand? The technical schools should be empowered, where people can look at people that do furniture. I know of some young people, Malik, a lot of young people that I know that went to school, went to university, but they're into furniture, and they're doing well. So we must empower our youth. And one of our greatest desire is to create generational billionaires in Kogi State, across the Kogi East, Kogi West, and Kogi Central. Let us create generational billionaires. And the model we intend to apply is the Dubai model. You can't come to Dubai today and open a company, and a citizen is not a director or a shareholder in the company. Like the 56 industries that I said we've identified, which we intend to attract investors with enabling good governance and enabling law. Once that happens, you cannot open an industry in Okene today, or open an industry factory in Kaba, or in Ida or Ampa, without having indigents from that locality as
being a major stakeholder.
Not a major shareholder, but being a shareholder. If it means us, that's why we intend to create like a Kogi investment funds, where part of this money, I'm not saying security vote is bad, but we should develop money whereby we can give loans to our youth to buy into companies that have been established. We're not telling you come and invest in the state and then just dash shares to our citizens. No, our youth, that's not what we're saying. We're saying invest. A percentage of your company must be for the indigents, for the locals, where they can invest in. And then we can give them money to buy shares, and that is what we mean by generational billionaires. So that's the plan, and many other more we intend to do for the good people of Kogi State. We are blessed. We should not be at the position we are today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Viewers, I leave you to judge. You've heard from the horse's mouth, and those are his plan, program, and intended policy when voted in. My guest on this program today is Mr. Idoko Kingsley Idoko Ilona. You are welcome. We appreciate your time and
thank you so much.
The time spent with us.
Thank you so much.
We hope to have more of you again on this program.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Viewers, thank you for being with us. Have a very nice day.